Sometimes life teaches us lessons we never expect, lessons that break our pride and open our hearts. This is the story of Liam, a young man who thought success gave him the right to look down on others. He believed life was about showing off, not feeling. But one day, he mocked a poor old man in front of his friends, and that cruel laughter would return to haunt him forever. What happened next changed Liam's entire world and his heart in a way he would never forget. Liam lived in a shining city full of cars, noise, and lights. On the outside, he seemed successful. Expensive clothes, a decent job, a perfect smile. But inside, he was restless. His world revolved around competition. He judged people by their appearance and wealth, believing kindness was weakness. He often passed by poor people without a glance, thinking they made their choices. What he didn't realize was that arrogance blinds the heart, and one moment of ego can destroy years of peace. Life was quietly preparing a lesson for Liam, one that would humble him completely. One chilly evening, Liam and his friends came out of a cafe, laughing and talking loudly. Across the street, an old man sat quietly near a lamppost. His clothes were torn, and he held a paper cup that barely had a few coins in it. Liam's friends made jokes, and then Liam, with a proud smirk, shouted, "Maybe you should try working instead of begging, old man." His friends laughed louder, but the old man didn't get angry. He looked up, smiled faintly, and said nothing. That smile, calm, forgiving, stayed in Liam's mind far longer than he expected. That night, Liam couldn't sleep. The old man's smile kept flashing in his mind. It wasn't a smile of weakness. It was peace, like he knew something Liam didn't. Why didn't he react? Liam thought. Why did he look free? The thought bothered him more than he wanted to admit. He turned on the TV, scrolled his phone, tried to distract himself, but that quiet face wouldn't go away. Deep inside, something began to shift, a feeling he couldn't name. Guilt, curiosity, or maybe the first spark of humanity. Days passed, but fate wasn't done with Liam yet. One morning, while heading to work, he saw the same old man again, this time in the park. But something shocked him. The man wasn't begging. He was feeding stray dogs with small pieces of bread. Liam stopped walking. The man's hands trembled, but his smile was gentle as the dogs gathered around him. "How can someone with nothing still give?" Liam whispered. It didn't make sense. He had everything but was miserable. That poor man had nothing, yet his eyes shone with peace. Unable to resist, Liam walked closer and asked sharply, "Why are you feeding them? You can barely feed yourself." The old man looked up slowly. His voice was calm, steady. He said, "Because hunger doesn't live only in the stomach. Some hearts are hungrier than bellies." Liam frowned. He didn't understand. "What's that supposed to mean?" he asked. The man smiled again and replied, "You'll know when you feel it." Those words stayed in Liam's ears long after he left the park. He didn't realize life was already preparing that hunger inside him. Liam laughed to himself as he walked away. "Wise words from a beggar," he muttered. "He's just trying to sound important." But deep down, he felt uneasy. That calm confidence in the old man's voice, it bothered him. Still, his ego wouldn't let him admit it. He told his friends the story later, and they all laughed. "Maybe he's a crazy old man," one said. But what they didn't know was that fate listens quietly. And sometimes, the people we mock are the very ones chosen to guide us back to ourselves. A few weeks later, life turned upside down. Liam's company announced layoffs. He was among the first to go. Days later, his girlfriend broke up with him. His savings began to vanish. The people who once laughed at his jokes stopped answering his calls. The city that once looked full of light now felt like a cold maze. For the first time, Liam understood what loneliness felt like, not outside, but inside. Pride couldn't feed him, ego couldn't comfort him, and the only thing left was silence and regret. One cold night, hungry and broken, Liam wandered through the same street where everything had started. His shoes were torn, his face tired, and then he saw it under the same lamppost. The same old man sitting quietly, humming softly to himself. Liam's throat tightened. For the first time, he felt small, truly small. He walked toward him slowly and whispered, "I'm sorry for everything." The old man looked up, eyes kind as ever. He smiled and said, "It's all right, son. Life has a way of bringing us back to the lessons we ignored." Liam stood there, trembling. His voice cracked as he said, "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said those things that day." The old man didn't look surprised. He simply smiled, the same gentle smile that had haunted Liam for weeks. "My son," he said softly, "the world has a strange way of showing us who we truly are. Sometimes we must fall to understand the pain of others." Tears welled up in Liam's eyes. He finally realized how cruel he had been, and how kind this man still was. The old man reached into a small cloth bag beside him and took out a brown paper packet. "Take this," he said, placing it gently in Liam's hands. "It's not much, but it'll fill your stomach tonight." Liam opened it. Inside were 2 pieces of bread, still warm. His throat tightened as he realized the man was giving away what little he had. "Why?" Liam whispered. "You don't owe me anything." The old man smiled faintly and said, "Kindness isn't a debt, son. It's a choice." As they sat together on the cold pavement, Liam couldn't stop staring at the bread. He finally asked, "Why help someone who laughed at you?" The old man looked at him for a moment, then said, "Because anger never heals anything. I saw pain in your eyes that day and deeper than your words." Liam lowered his gaze. He didn't expect compassion. He expected rejection. But the old man's words hit him like truth often does, softly, but deep enough to stay forever. After a pause, the old man continued, "I once had everything, a home, a family, a business. I used to judge people too. Then one night a fire took it all. My wife, my son, everything I loved." He looked up at the sky, eyes glistening but peaceful. "For years I asked, why me? But then I realized, losing everything made me understand what truly matters. Love, compassion, the things no fire can burn." Liam sat still, unable to speak. The silence between them said more than any words could. Liam wiped his tears. "I thought wealth made people strong," he said. The old man smiled. "Wealth builds walls, son. But pain breaks them. When the heart breaks open, that's when real strength enters." He looked at Liam kindly. "Don't be ashamed of falling. Be grateful you can rise differently." Those words felt like light piercing through darkness. Liam nodded slowly, realizing that what he lost wasn't his job or money. It was his compassion. Now he was starting to find it again. From that night, Liam was no longer the same. He started volunteering at shelters, helping those he once ignored. He didn't have much, but he gave what he could: time, care, and understanding. Every smile he received in return filled the emptiness he once carried. For the first time, Liam slept peacefully. His heart, once full of ego, now overflowed with gratitude. He learned that helping others doesn't just change their life, it changes yours. Months later, Liam returned to the same park to thank the old man. But his spot was empty. The lamppost stood silent. Liam asked a fruit seller nearby, "Where's the old man who sat here?" The vendor shook his head and said, "He hasn't come in days. Some say he went to another town." Liam looked down sadly. Then he noticed something: a small folded note under a stone where the man once sat. It read, "Keep giving what you once needed." As Liam unfolded the note, an old photograph slipped out. It showed the same man, younger, healthier, standing in front of a small charity home, surrounded by smiling children. Liam's eyes widened. The man he thought was a beggar was once the founder of a home for orphans. He had given everything to others, even his last comfort. Liam whispered, "He wasn't poor. He was the richest soul I ever met." Tears rolled down his face as he pressed the photograph to his heart. Liam stood under the same lamppost looking up at the stars. He whispered, "You taught me the value of a kind heart. I'll carry it forever." The night breeze brushed against his face, as if the old man's spirit was smiling back. From that day, Liam lived differently, not chasing wealth, but spreading kindness. And every time he saw someone in need, he remembered the man he once mocked, and the truth that broke him. True wealth isn't in what you own, but in what you give.